Shalom YouTube, this is Sister T and welcome again to The Rock. What you see right here is chickens being processed. This is one that our daughter just did and she defeathered it and she's doing another one right now. Let me see how you dip it again. Yeah, one of our daughters, our 14-year-old, she handles the chickens. She handles the animals in general, and she loves dealing with the chickens. And she dips in and she defeathers them, and she helps process the chickens. So we are processing some chickens today, and that's what she's helped doing. Okay, one moment. Okay, Shalom, I'm back. I had to move from where because it was entirely too hot. It has been our master's command that we only come outside for a little while in the morning. We take care of the animals, take care of a few chores, and we go in the house. And it is commanded for us to be in the house away from this sun and heat so we don't pass out. So our family, we're only out here a little while, and when she finished with those chickens, she is headed in. We all headed in the house because we will not be out here and fry. I don't know if it's hot like this where you all are, but it is really hot out here at The Rock. It has been hot for the past 2 weeks where it's just been extreme heat. We've been having shorter days of work where we're working early in the morning, we're going in the house, we're getting in front of the fans, we're resting, or we're doing inside work, and then when it cools off in the afternoon, then we all come back out and we take on some more chores and close out the day. And he said, you know, this is how it would be, and it seemed like this whole month because it's been this hot. It's just too hot for us to be out here. But anyways, that's not the nature of this video, but it is hot. But that's not the nature of this video. But I wanted to come do a part 2 to the video that we were talking about the women leaving or wanting to join a man's house, and then they do not like the rules. They do not want to agree to be bound to a man or a man running their life or whatever their reasons are. So as long as they have something going for themselves, they turn down the offer of joining a man's house or for whatever reason, and they continue living their lives. And when their life reach a point where they cannot sustain it any longer, then they are now coming back and asking to join a man's house. And a lot of them are saying no at this point because, like I said in the previous video, they now know what you are about. That as long as you have something going for yourself, you really are not trying to tie it down. You don't want to be under no man. You want to actually run your own life and do your own will. And it's not only until you hit a hard time where now you are willing to do that because you want someone to save you from the position that you are in, which then tells them that as soon as you think that you could be in a position to make it again, you will use them to pick yourself back up and launch yourself, and then you have the reputation now of then you want to go off and live your own life. And we've already seen those things happen. Personally, we've experienced those things, so we know that that is true in a lot more cases than we realize. And that brings me to my next point of the part 2 of there's another reason that I know that our master does speak a lot. The brethren that we fellowship have spoken about this a lot, about another reason they will not take on these women who come back or who have these sorts of behaviors. He said because if you think about it, the women do not have any accountability. I remember, I'm going to take you back a little bit. I remember when me and my master, we got married. In 2009, we used to have this argument. We were married. We used to come across issues and things that we didn't like. He saw things in me that he didn't like. I saw things that I didn't like, etc., etc. And we would talk about them. We'd talk about the problems with why, you know, men and women are fighting in marriage and divorce. We used to have a lot of those conversations. And he would tell me that women are the one who give up on the marriages and how women's behaviors were. It's women that have these foul attitudes, the reasons why men don't want to deal with them. And that wasn't my experience in life. From the little bit I thought I knew, because, you know, I thought I knew a lot more because I had a big old family and I seen many women and aunties and cousins and stuff, and I seen how women behave, and I knew they had bad attitudes, and I knew little things like that, but I'm like, it's not them that's running off on the men. All the men are cheating, and they're leaving the woman, they're leaving the babies, because I've seen that in my family, and I've seen that in my friend's family, and I've seen that in my other friend's family, that the men are cheating with other women, they're leaving their families behind. And my master will always tell me, and I remember this, he used to always tell me, it's because you do not know statistics. You do not know what the statistics say, nor have you been around enough to see how people behave on a larger realm of people. You're just thinking about the people that live in your little hood town, or the few towns that you have lived in, this little area you and your family have lived in. He said, but you haven't been around enough to see what goes on everywhere, like, you know, what's the majority. And I thought I was sure that wasn't the majority, that all the women were not causing this many problems. And if you see one black woman acting crazy like this, it was not the majority. She's only representing like 5% of the black population of women and things like this. And he would constantly tell me, you do not know statistics. You do not know what you think you know. You know from your little church group, you know from your little area, your little town that you've lived in your whole life, or the little few towns your family lived in, but you have not gotten around enough. So he started to show me. And one thing is, the internet can be good or bad, but the internet is what my master used to show me on a larger scale what was actually inside of people. People in general, but specifically for the sake of this video, women. And everything that he wanted to prove, all he had to do was go to the internet, which he did do, and he pulled up statistic after statistic after statistic. Then he showed me video after video after video, and women were all over routinely acting a fool. It was the women who were doing the fighting. It was the women who were pushing the men away. It was the women that was destroying men's lives, destroying their stuff, taking their stuff, abusing them, using any sort of thing that they can use as an advantage to the man. And then he showed me the statistic of marriage and divorce. And 80% of the divorce are filed by women. I never seen that stuff before. I've never known that. My perspective were men were cheating and leaving their families. And only some women here and there would cheat. And only some women would do something that was just so bad that they had to break up a family. But men just could not keep their stuff in their pants. And they went from woman to woman. And they caused their families to break up. That was the perspective I was raised under. And so when he showed me that, of course, I'm sitting there, first of all, looking dumb. Because it showed that I didn't know what I thought I knew. Number two, I was surprised because I thought women behaved better than that, including myself. And then what I learned moving on as the years passed by, that no, a lot of women actually behave this way because we have no accountability. And then he was explaining that you all don't have to be held to the standards that men are held to. When you all do something, you're bailed out every time. If you have a baby, the government bail you out. They'll pay your way to support that baby. You never have to feel it for you to go, and you have to support the baby. You have to go to work, and if you're struggling, someone's not over there saying, oh, poor so-and-so, and giving them money and giving them the care and doing all those things. They never had to truly struggle through what they were dealing with. Not saying all, but they never had to truly struggle with what they were dealing with and take accountability that if I laid down and spread my legs to get this baby, I'm going to take on the responsibility of also raising and taking care of this baby. So on one end, you have that where the government is willing to pay for you via welfare to help you take care of this baby. And they'll pay so much that you don't have to do anything. It's almost feasible for the woman to say, why work? So I can get all these benefits and all these funds, and I don't have to do that, and then I can continue doing whatever it is that I want to do. Okay, and then on another aspect, they open up the door for Planned Parenthood, which has been here for a long time. But Planned Parenthood is down the street. If you don't want to take accountability for the baby, go on down to Planned Parenthood. They'll hook you up. And it's as if it never even happened. And, you know, as he started breaking these things down, it's like, that's right, we don't. I know even for myself, there are some times that I remember my first speeding ticket. And I didn't have no money. I was in college. I mean, this is probably maybe not big, but I got my first speeding ticket. And I don't even think I was going that fast, but whatever. I got a speeding ticket. And I was crying because I'm like, where am I going to get this money? And even then, I did get a bailout. Here come my grandmother, and she said, I got you. I'll take care of it. Don't get another one. So we have people bailing us out, whether it be the government, whether it be your family members, whether it be your mama, whether it be your daddy. You get in a hard time because you're doing something foolish, not because you did something smart, or not because you're doing something good and then you just hit a hard time in the process. A lot of times we're doing foolish things, and then we get into trouble doing foolish things, or doing things that likely we were already warned against by our family or our mothers or fathers or whoever. And we went and did it anyway because we wanted to prove them wrong, and we wanted to act as if we knew what we were doing. And when we did those things and we fell straight in our face, we still had somebody was willing to say, oh, poor so-and-so, and bring us in and let us live in their home or feed us or do something. So when the men are speaking of this accountability that the women don't have, they're absolutely correct. And for this case, so now going back to why they don't want to accept these type of women, because if we're not accountable, we can't be trusted. If you won't be accountable to your own actions or behavior, if you're always running, if we're the leading, we lead in filing for divorce, if we lead in causing them problems and then not want to fix it and we just run from it, if we lead in not having endurance in marriage or anything hard, that as soon as something hard happens, we want to run, if we're selfish and only think about our happiness and not the happiness of the whole family, the man, the children, everyone as a whole, if we cannot go through any sort of hard times, knowing that is the inevitable, that you sometimes may hit a hard time, a hard season, and you're not willing to stick it out, even if everything is not the way you want it to be, then what will be the purpose of them making that sacrifice? Because what ends up happening is, in the end, they get burned. But when you up and leave, they get burned. If you up and leave and try to take children, they can get burned, or it's possible for them to get burned. If you spent any and used any of their resources to launch yourself to get back on your feet so you can go do the same thing you always done, again, they get burned. So in that case, now you will be able to see, or at least I hope you're able to see, this is why they do not want to make marital covenants anymore. If you are a woman who've come and you've walked away and you've left and it's like, oh, I can't do that, and then you want to come back, now you see why they don't want to do that anymore. Because they've grown up and they see this is repetitive. This is not one woman. This is not 5% of the women. This is the majority at this point. And if this is the majority, then what do they get out of taking that step or making that investment in you or any of us as women if we won't do what we say we're going to do? If they know that this is the risk they're taking, that they're going to get left, that their money is going to get tampered into one way or another, they might try to take your children, they might try to take what you have, or they just use up all your resources and they say, I'm out because now I found something better. If that's what they're getting, and then on top of that, they can't even look at the time that they've been with you or invested in you and say, oh, I was happy and they did everything they can for me, then what will be the point? And if you're a woman who have not joined the man's house, but you have turned away because you want to do your own will, then he knows that that's still in you. You've only come back because you had no other options. So I hope this video will help somebody. I hope that you see, if you didn't watch the first one, it might be helpful to watch the first one I did last week, talking about the same or similar topic of women who are coming back after wanting to join a man's house. They had an opportunity, they blew the opportunity because they wanted to do their own will, and then when things got hard or they lost their ability to continue to do their own will, then they have come back and they are in the inboxes of several men in the faith, and wanting them to take them on now as a second wife after they further ruined their life. And then the question was asked, and many women are asking this, well, now they don't want to accept us, and what's the problem? And they've been given an idea too that men are taking on women who have issues, and that's what polygyny is about, and it's not. If we don't have any sort of accountability, we can't endure it through anything, They're not taking us on as welfare like the government does. Oh, you get a hard time, I'm going to be your new welfare. They're not our welfare system, and they're not our sugar daddies. So if you want to be in a marriage and this is not you, or you have repented fully from this type of lifestyle, then you're going to have to now do something different and start taking accountability for your actions. So if this is you, you might want to clean up stuff in your life right now where you are. Take accountability for the stuff that's in your life right now where you are, so you can be an option again if that's the Father's will. But for some, that may not be His will, and then now we're stuck with just living out our life with the choices that we've made, and that is a truly hard thing. But that's where we are. Well, I hope this video was helpful. I hope that I answered anybody and everyone's questions who posted, as well as who sent us emails about why they were not able to get married, or why the men didn't want to marry them, or why the men are thinking that they're going to behave like the other women. It's because it's statistically proven that this is actually what happens. So I hope you all have a productive day. Shalom.